Hello and welcome to the Welcome to Health and Life Sciences live stream. We're going to be having a bit of a chat about what you can expect from Health and Life Sciences, how your course might look this year, and more in general, what the faculty can offer you. My name's Jake. I'll be hosting today, but I'm not the biggest of experts on Health and Life Sciences myself, so I'm going to be getting a couple other people in with me. So first off, we're going to introduce Anna, who is the Associate Professor of Student Experience for HLS. Hi, Anna.
Oh, hi, Jake. Hi, everybody. It's my first time doing this, so please bear with me. Welcome to DMU. I'm really pleased to be speaking to you. I'm the Associate Professor for Student Experience. I've worked at Montfort University for a number of years now, and I've been in my position and my post for 3 years. And I do everything to do with student experience. So really, I'm involved quite heavily with our personal tutoring scheme. I'm involved with something called module level feedback, which is getting the student voice to feedback about learning experiences within individual modules that students have undertaken. And I sit on a wide variety of university panels, taking on board student experiences, student voice, and helping to put those back into our teaching and learning events to ensure that we're always keeping up to date and responding to student needs and questions.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. We also have the Associate Dean for Health and Life Sciences. That's Nikki Brooks. Hi, Nikki. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi there. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. My name's Nikki Brooks and I'm the Associate Dean Academic for the Faculty of Health and Life Sciences. So it's really my job. I take responsibility for all things teaching and learning within the faculty, and I also have responsibility for student progression and student achievement, and really kind of look after all of the programs that we offer within the faculty. So we're quite a varied faculty, obviously, with a big mixture of programs. A lot of the nature of our business is professional programs, but we do a lot more beside that. So I'm an ex-DMU graduate, so a nurse by background, but graduated from DMU far too many years ago to mention now, and worked in the NHS and then came back to DMU. So like Anna, I've been at DMU for a very long time, and I've been in my current role for about 5 years.
Fantastic. Welcome to the stream. And then finally, unfortunately not through video today, but in audio format, we have the manager for the Student Advice Centre. My apologies. Callie, hello.
Hi everyone. Yes, I must apologise for no camera. Maybe not such a bad thing for you guys. So I must apologise. So yeah, I'm the Student Advice Centre Manager for Health and Life Sciences, and the Student Advice Centres, it's sort of, I'd say it's your first port of call for any queries that you may have. I know our details are coming across the bottom of the screen, so you've got our phone number and our email address there. We're based in Edith Murphy House on campus on the lower ground floor, and we deal with the hand-in and return of your coursework. So I know there's a lot of it that's done electronically now, but for some courses there will still be hard copy work that you need to hand in to us. So you pop in and see us in the Student Advice Centre and fill out the relevant paperwork there for your coursework cover sheets, and then you'll be given a receipt for your work. I haven't been back into the office myself yet. The office did open again this week though. So we have social distancing measures in place, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, just to ensure your safety back on campus. We also deal with attendance monitoring, and we're sort of the bypass for the faculty office. So each of your programs will have a program administrator, they're called. They deal with all of your enrolment on your course and any queries that you may have regarding your administration of your course. But we're sort of the bypass for that. So any initial queries, I would say, come to us, and then we can forward those on for you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So yes, this is going to be, we're going to have a bit of a discussion about the faculty itself and all the different, everything that we're doing to make it safe this year, and also a bit more of a brief introduction to the faculty. But before we do that, I do just want to say that towards the end of today's stream, we're going to have a question and answer session. So if you have anything that you want to know about your course upcoming, about any sort of elements of your time here at DMU, please do drop a question in the comments, and we will answer them to the best of our abilities in a little bit. But firstly, I guess we should probably get started with a bit more of an introduction to health and life sciences. So, is there anyone who would like to sort of start us off, if you would?
Yeah, I think I'll start everybody off. So as I said, obviously the Faculty of Health and Life Sciences, it's a really exciting time to join our faculty. So we have an array of professional courses, as I've said. So we prepare students obviously for pharmacy, for nursing, for careers in social work, youth work, a whole array of professional courses, as well as having a lot of larger courses within our faculty, such as psychology, biomedical sciences, education. So we're very, very varied. It's probably fair to say that kind of more recently we have expanded, and very much due to health and social care need. So more recently we've undertaken a lot of developing policing courses and different routes into policing, things like paramedicine, radiography. So lots and lots of different areas to our faculty. So it makes it kind of a really exciting and place to work. And a lot of our students we have a huge mixture of students. So it's probably fair to say within HLS, we've probably got the broadest picture of all student ages. So we have, obviously younger students that have just left school, as well as some very mature students as well coming into the various professions. So overall, we probably have around 6,000-ish students on our faculty roll call. So we're the second biggest faculty within Montfort University. So we're just slightly behind business and law, but hopefully with our expansion plans, then we can overtake them. We have lots of different homes. So once you get onto campus, predominantly you will see the Hawthorne building, which is kind of central to the campus, and it's one of the oldest buildings on campus. So it used to form part of the original kind of arts facilities. So that's our big home, and a lot of our lab-based facilities are housed over there, as well as obviously teaching spaces. We also have Edith Murphy building, which is on the edge of campus, and it's you'll see it because it's the blood red building, as we affectionately call it. So that's where, as Callie said, obviously student advice lives there, and also Anna and I live there as well. So our office spaces are currently there, and our faculty executive team tend to have their offices over there. So with that building, a lot of the nursing provision is really homed within that particular building. Then we have Portland building, which kind of sits behind the Hawthorne. So Portland is really the home to psychology and education. So we do share that building with other departments within the university, but we have the first floor of that building for classroom spaces, psychology labs, and computer facilities, those kind of things. And then our last building that we're just planning our invasion over really is Heritage House. So Heritage, again, sits next to Edith Murphy. So it's slightly hidden away, but closer to town. And in Heritage, we're developing and improving our clinical skills facilities, so they'll live over there, and we also have some classroom facilities as well. So some of the office space for academic staff is over there as well, but as I say, we're currently planning our expansion. So again, it's an exciting year for the faculty really, as we plan to overtake that building. So at the moment, we have our dean, who is Kaushika Patel. So she's our interim dean, and it's really her job, obviously, to look after all the financial side of the faculty, and really take control of all the staffing, the students, obviously all the programs that we offer, as well as developing future program provision. So Kaushika is supported by an interim deputy dean, so that is Dr. Stephen Little, And again, you know, alongside myself, kind of Stephen really takes on things like timetabling, teaching and learning activities, and is really obviously an understudy to Kaushika if she's not available. Then you've got associate deans. So you've got myself, who's the associate dean academic, and I've already explained what I do. We have Jonathan Fisher-Jones, who is the Associate Dean for International. So his job is predominantly looking after international students and also, you know, sort of scoping international provision. And then we have an Associate Dean in Research, who is Anwar Baden, and he takes responsibility for all things research that happen within the faculty, with some emphasis on PhD students as well. Within the faculty, we've got a team of associate professors. So obviously you've got Anna, who you've already met. We have associate professors for research students, likewise for quality, that look after our academic provision, and associate professors for international. So they're kind of like the central faculty team. And then you will find as a student, you are part of a school. So as much as you are, you have your program, you will, the modules that you study will have a module leader, and then that contributes all of your courses headed up by a program leader who takes that overall responsibility for your course of study. So again, everything that happens within your course, any changes, any developments, all things go through your course leader. So, you know, you will obviously, if you haven't already, have the opportunity to meet those people very soon. And then we have sort of moving up with the structure, really, we have different programs sit within different schools. So our faculty has 4 schools. So we have the School of Nursing and Midwifery, the School of Pharmacy, we have Allied Health Sciences and Applied Health Sciences. So all of our programs sit within one of those 4 schools, and they are headed up by a head of school and associate head of school as well. So who all really support the kind of day-to-day running of their school, the running of the programs, and very much comment on the day-to-day business and operation. So I actually went back to campus last Friday for the first time in a very long time. So obviously we've all been away since the pandemic started. So my home, as I said, is in Edith Murphy. So I've actually seen firsthand all the different measures that have been put in place. So I've got some teaching coming up in the labs in a couple of weeks. So I kind of walked around Edith Murphy and Hawthorne building. So obviously all the information around the changes that we've made, you'll find on the DMU Future site. So that's really the kind of place where we're directing students. But there are the safety measures which you would expect. So we have one-way systems across all of our buildings. So I think it's probably fair to say that it's different for staff as well. So as we start to return to campus, we're a bit like you. We're still finding the right way around our buildings. So and it's a very different environment, obviously, from kind of having access all areas. So so we have one-way systems, we have sanitizer points, we have social distancing measures in place. Like you, we've been all issued face masks as well. So we will wear those, obviously, when we're teaching you, and as we kind of, move around the campus or in communal spaces. So, the whole COVID thing, for want of a better word, it's everybody's responsibility to make sure that we stay safe. We have had to put some measures in place, obviously, because a lot of our teaching occurs in labs. So the lab spaces and the teaching spaces will be working at reduced capacity, as you will expect, so that we can ensure social distancing takes place. And in some areas, you may be required to wear personal protective equipment or PPE, in addition to obviously support your safety in those areas. But don't worry, obviously we're all here to look after you, we're all here to guide you through it. Normally students, it's a big campus. Students are kind of not sure of their way around in the beginning, and we're with you with that in terms of the staff as well, because we're not used to the changes yet either. So we'll all get through it together as we obviously start to return onto campus over the next few weeks. Obviously, we all look forward to that. So we've all missed being around students and being with each other. So I'm not sure, Anna, if you have anything else that you wanted to add to.
Yeah, I can add a few things to your very comprehensive account of HLS there, Nikki. I think something that's really important is to engage with the online induction that we've been planning. We've been working on this probably since before the pandemic, but once we went into lockdown, we had to think about how we were going to manage Freshers Week in an online world. And there's a lot of activities been put in place from the student union, but also your programme teams will be there to help get you inducted and help get you to transition into university. So please do keep your eye out for the online stuff. The academic staff have also been working really hard on developing some really interesting online activities for you. Because of social distancing, we can't have lectures of 200 people all sitting together. So a lot of the lecture type activities will be online. Some of those will be live, sort of webinars and live lectures. Some of them will be pre-recorded. So there's a wide variety of academic experiences for you to get involved with. There's also face-to-face teaching going to happen in very small groups. Some of that might not happen till after Christmas, but there will be face-to-face there. Things like clinical skills and lab work, as Nikki has already referred to. There will be proper PPE measures put in place, but we recognise that you want to do practical things. So we've had to think about how to do that so that it remains interesting but safe for you to do. And I think that's all I can add at the moment.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Yes, it's important to say that whilst obviously we'll be doing a lot of stuff online, there will be opportunities for you to get involved on campus, and they will be safely distanced. We are taking the precautions. That's the word I was looking for. In fact, I think Hawthorne with the one-way directions on it is almost even easier to navigate now, because I always used to get lost in it when I didn't have arrows pointing me where to go.
Me too, Jake.
Yeah, it's a big building. It's a fantastic building. It's like Hogwarts in there. But yes, well, I think it's about high time that we got started on some questions, because I've seen we've had a lot coming in the comments. If you've got any more, please do make sure to let us know, and we will get started with some of these. So I think we'll go with one for Callie first, because you've been sat there patiently waiting for a while. So we had one earlier from I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. One from Bio Obembe saying, "I have not received my student ID yet. Is there any update on that?" Thank you very much. So Callie, when can students expect to get their student IDs, and what's the process of that?
So the process this year is that they're all being posted out to the term time address that students have provided us with, as long as that's a UK address. So just need to make sure that the term time address we have for you is correct. The first mail out, I believe, is going on the 28th of September, and then they will be sent daily after that. So anytime from the 28th onwards, you should expect to receive your student ID, provided you've completed all of your registration.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Short, sweet, and to the point. Fantastic. We've got a couple of ones which are sort of on a more technicality based stuff, more like this, which might be up your lane. So I've just seen one from a Bianca Smart asking, when will social work receive a timetable? I'm assuming that this is going to be a very similar problem across, not problem, but a very similar thing across all of the different courses. So when can students expect their timetables?
The timetables for all new students will be released on Thursday, the 1st of October.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Right. What else have we got coming up here? We have a question from Jake Dockery asking how much of the work will be online and how much will actually be in the university. Is there anyone who'd like to come in on this one?
Okay, I can take that one if you want. So I think, Jake, in answer to your question, it's quite difficult to say just because the courses are so different. So the best piece of advice really is that you would need to contact your program leader to find out obviously what the plans are for your specific program. So obviously there will be quite a fair amount online, but as Anna has already said, we are planning, face-to-face activities as well. Probably once you receive your timetable, it all might become a little bit clearer, and obviously you can see, sort of the mixture of sessions that there are. And as we said, some of them will be live, although they're online, but some will be face-to-face. But it's very much dependent on the course that you're doing. So a bit tricky to answer.
Fair enough. It's more based on how practical your course is, would you say?
Yeah, potentially. Obviously, some of the courses have got quite a lot of practical elements that are requirements that students have to do before they can go off into a placement, for example. So yes, it does vary.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Right, where are we? Yes, okay, we've got a question here from, again, I'm going to just blanket apology to everyone in the comments. If I do mispronounce your name, I do apologize. I've got a question from a Julia Kazmarek saying, hello, I have a question about the attendance. I have 2 school-aged children. I'm really worried about the on-campus sessions when they are ill or if they need to self-isolate or etc. Anna, was this one that would be more up your street?
Yes, I can answer that. Hello, Julia. I think you won't be alone in having school-age children, so we will be understanding that sometimes children get ill and parents have to stay at home. I think as long as you keep in touch with your program leader and your personal tutor about any difficulties or struggles that you're having, then that can be managed and taken into account.
Fantastic. Perfect. And I presume that's sort of similar for anyone if the thing arises that they do need to self-isolate. What is the procedure for that? Is it a case of letting your course leaders know?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I think that's the most important point, to keep in touch with us. So to let your course leader know, or your personal tutor, or probably both even, just so we know what's going on and that you haven't disappeared off the radar, that we know that there's a valid reason that you're unable to attend, and then we can record that. So obviously we're fully aware of it.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned the term personal tutor, Jake. I don't know if everybody's probably familiar with what that means. Your personal tutor is somebody who you will be given, it's a member of academic staff. You will be allocated to a group, and your personal tutor is the person that sees you through the 3 years or the 4 years of your program, and they really are your go-to person for any advice that you might need or any issues that you might be experiencing. So for example, welfare issues, finance issues, health issues, some academic issues, they will explain to you where to go. So your personal tutor really is probably the key person when you start at university that you really need to make that relationship with. They will be reaching out to you. They will offer you opportunities to have chats via Teams or collaborate, but equally you need to make sure that you keep in touch with your personal tutor so that you can be supported, because we recognise that for a lot of the online stuff you're probably going to be at home or in accommodation. We need to make sure that there is that support for you there, and so the way we do that is if you need to keep that communication and that conversation going with your personal tutor so that we can make sure that we support you in every way we can.
Perfect, thank you very much. Quick question building on that as well. Is it possible for people to meet with their personal tutors face to face? What would be the safety precautions in that case? How would someone go about that if possible?
Yeah. At the moment, it would very much depend on personal tutor and personal student. So that we're not ruling it out, probably not meeting as groups, but again, that would have to be communication with individual members of staff and individual students.
Okay, so it would differ on a case-by-case basis.
I think so, because we have to recognise that some staff may be shielding or may have issues about face-to-face, as well as students needing to protect. The campus has very much been set up for safety, but part of that safety is making sure that students and staff are safe and supported in going about their work and their learning.
Fantastic. Yes, thank you very much for that, Anna. We've got another question here saying from a Kim Ham. Will we have to sign in to online sessions so that attendance is recognised? Who would like to come in on this?
I can take this one. So I'll give you the honest answer in the fact that we're still finalising our processes. So we do monitor attendance. It will probably be quite different to sort of if you've come from a more typical school-based structure. But we do monitor attendance, obviously by virtue of the fact that you log into a session, we have a list of students' names, so we can cross-check that. So we're just working with our colleagues in information services to literally see how we can draw that data, short of an academic having to make a list. But yes, we will be monitoring attendance in various forms. So if you were on campus and you were having face-to-face sessions, it's very easy because we have swipe cards in a lot of the teaching spaces. So you can use your ID badge, swipe your card, and it logs that you have attended that session. So there has been a lot of rethinking and obviously redoing everything. So, obviously we've kind of moved from an immediate response from the initial lockdown to, which is quite a reactive response, more to being proactive and fully preparing. So we're all learning in this. I think that's really important to kind of get across. So we are finalising processes before teaching starts so that we can ensure that we can continue with things like attendance monitoring.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. The other thing to mention, I know obviously that was a question about online, but in person, the other thing to also remember is we will have track and trace in place. There is there are QR codes around the university. Again, if you want more information about it, your DMU Safety, which has just come up along the bottom of the screen, is the place to go. But
Jake, can I just interrupt? Sorry, I can see a question in the comments about being assigned a personal tutor. That's probably something that I didn't say in my first bit. Students are assigned a personal tutor once they've registered. The programme leaders and programme administration teams will be doing that over the weekend of the 28th. So when you start for induction week, you will be told the name of your personal tutor, and there will be activities with personal tutors actually in induction week. So once you start, you will get your personal tutor almost straight away. Although I can't guarantee it'll be within the first hour, but it will be pretty much as soon as you register, you'll know who your personal tutor is.
As soon as possible. Fantastic.
Yes, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so we have a lot of questions coming in, so I'm going to roll around one sort of particular subject. So I'm going to roll them into one sort of general question. A lot of questions about when it will be that students will get access to a Blackboard. So would anyone be able to talk a bit about Blackboard and how students are going to be able to use it this year?
I think in terms of when they will receive access to Blackboard, we're currently finalising registrations for students as we speak. So as long as we've got everything from students that we need to be able to finalise their registration, as I say, literally as I speak, that's taking place. If there's any students that have got any concerns about their registration, they think they've done everything for registration, but they've still not received login details or anything. If they want to drop us an email, we're more than happy to check that for them and get back to them if there are any issues there. So I would just say to bear with us at the moment. We are in the process of doing it. You will be sent your login and your password for Blackboard. But like I say, if you think you've done everything and you just want to check, more than welcome to drop us an email and we can check that for you.
Perfect, thank you. The other thing, in relation to that with registration, we're seeing quite a few questions about people waiting for their DBS to be processed so that they can complete registration. I don't know if this would be one for Callie perhaps, but is this, yeah, would you be able to have a bit of a quick talk about how that's working, if they can complete their registration without that DBS check?
I don't believe they can, but I am not 100% sure, if I'm honest. Like I say, I would say for the individual queries, because obviously it works differently on different programs with the DBS element. And I think a lot of it depends on their placement and things, if they're due out on placement soon that they need the DBS for. So again, I think any queries about that, if they can drop us an email, we could run it past their program administrator to get a definitive answer on that for them.
Perfect, yes, and that email address and that number are now coming across the bottom of the screen now. Almost feels like children in need when you're doing that. But yes, so if you want to get in contact with the Advice Centre, do make sure to get in contact with those down below. Fantastic. Okay, so going on to another question. We have one from Mehdi Bokatar, again, apologies, saying, before going on to campus, do we need to be tested for COVID? Who would like to take this one? No. Oh,
I haven't seen that it's a requirement to be tested for COVID. If you feel you have symptoms, you should be tested for COVID. You need to follow the government advice on that. But there is the microsite, which has been flashing across, which is the DMU safety microsite, which will give you all the information that you need to know as a student coming onto campus. That's for new students and for returning students. Yes.
And that will definitely answer those sort of questions as well, and what you should do in eventuality that you unfortunately test positive. Okay, fantastic. Yes.
So sorry to jump in there. I've just done a little bit of got a bit of background information in regards to the online access for Blackboard. So we used to have a sort of a registration weekend, we called it, which was where we did in-person registration. Obviously, things like that can't happen at the moment with crowds of people. So all students should have been emailed a confirmation of registration form. As soon as they complete that and return it, that's when their program administrator will finalise their registration. So as I say, I know that that's happening at the moment, but students can just make sure that they have completed that confirmation of registration form, and that's obviously what we need at the moment. If they haven't received that form for any reason, then drop us an email and let us know, and we can get it sent out to them again.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that confirmation, Callie. So we have a question here from a Claire R asking, can pre-recorded sessions be done at a different time of day due to having children and time management? Would this affect attendance? This also rolls into, I've seen another couple saying, for example, one saying, if I miss my induction, will it be recorded so you can watch it back? How are we planning on doing this? Would anyone like to jump in?
Do you want me to do this one? I mean, obviously anything pre-recorded, then you can view it to suit yourself. As I say, in relation to attendance, obviously we're still kind of absolutely working out the processes. There's very clever analytics behind our system, so we can draw on when students have viewed things online, but yeah, you can do them to suit yourself. So again, students like staff have still got the challenges potentially of some children being at home, some changes in provision. So some people are working literally different hours in terms of staff, but as for students, you can work around what suits you and your family need. Obviously, there are some differences. If there's live sessions, then you are expected to attend those, and you will be notified of when they are happening, so that you can try and pre-plan a little bit. But apart from that, we're all working through it.
Fantastic. I'll continue mentioning live sessions. I did want to ask that I know in the past we've used something called Panopto, which allows the teachers to record lectures, so that while students are still expected to attend, if they need to replay the lecture, they were able to. Are we going to be using those features at the moment, or?
Yeah. So DMU Replay has been around for what, 3 years, I think now. It's essentially it is lecture capture. So I'll kind of start by saying that it's not all sessions are recorded, because some things like group discussions, some subjects are a little bit emotive and not appropriate to be recorded, but all key lectures are recorded and then posted, so students can watch them 1, 10, 20 times, as much as they want to play back. And obviously you can hear and you can see the kind of key points from those lectures that are delivered. Absolutely. So yes, so DMU is an integral part of our universal design for learning offering, which is essentially making all learning accessible for all students.
Absolutely. DMU Replay, I have to say, when I was still studying here, was absolutely crucial when I would forget a note, or the lecture was going too fast for me to jot it down. So yeah, no, really great facilities available there. We have a question here from a Maisie Fruip saying, will nursing groups still be going on placements in the first year?
I can answer that, I think, Nikki, if you don't mind. As far as we understand at the moment, nursing students will be going on placements. It has been organised. But of course, we are still in a situation where there's a pandemic, and situations and circumstances are liable for change. So at the moment, the plan is that there will be placements, but it will be very much dependent on the government advice and what the trusts, our local NHS trusts, decide to do.
Fantastic. And I don't know if there's really anything to add to that question with this sort of add to that answer with this follow-up question, but we have another one here from Lavinia saying, what will placement years be like and how does it work, such as how do we organize it? So for placements in general, as opposed to just solely nursing, would anyone be able to come in on that?
So I can pick that up. So over the sort of beginning of lockdown, a lot of our placements in HLS were suspended for reasons that generally schools closed down. Some services obviously were ceased or changed, and staff went to remote working. So some of our placement providers told us that they couldn't accommodate students at that time. So now we are in a situation, obviously 6 months on, where students have resumed some placements, other students are resuming placements. So it very much depends on the course. And we are aiming to keep students in placement as much as possible. So specifically for the placement year students, which obviously you've mentioned, Lavinia, so in terms of offering a placement year, we're very much governed by what the employers tell us. So we're working with some employers who are happy to accept students. Other employers can't accommodate for a placement year at the moment because their own services continue to be disrupted. So as much as possible, we are trying to maintain normal service, but there are some restrictions to that, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. That's a nice and comprehensive answer there. I've seen a couple of questions being repeated. So when do we receive timetables? That will be happening, I believe it was September 30th, was it, Callie? Oh, I got that number completely wrong. If so, I do apologize.
I'm still on mute there, sorry. No, the timetables are on the 1st of October, Thursday the 1st of October for undergraduate students. Postgraduate are Sunday the 4th of October.
Perfect, thank you very much. And I've seen a couple of questions saying, do we still have campus elements in first term? When will we meet the people on our course face to face? The answers are pretty much as we've been over earlier. You will, as a part of DMU Future, you will have a blended approach to learning. You'll have at least some campus time every week, even though most of your lectures will be held online. And in those sort of times, you are most likely also to see people on your course face to face, but obviously in limited numbers and socially distanced, because obviously we want to keep everyone safe and we want to keep everyone learning in a healthy environment. Okay, great. I've got a question here again from Kim Ham saying, in terms of any presentations that we might have to do, will we have to come to campus to deliver them, or will they be held online?
I can answer that. So it is probably likely that it will be online. So this is probably a good opportunity for you to home up on your own skills. So again, in terms of presentations, they can be done online. They can be done through PowerPoint with a voiceover, etc. But it kind of goes back to what I talked about earlier in terms of different courses offering different provision, and there are different requirements within each course. So you will certainly be guided through the process once you kind of start to settle into week one and start to learn about the expectations of you and what the content of the different modules that you'll be studying is. So your academic staff, your lecturers involved with your particular course will guide you on the requirements for that particular programme.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We are rapid firing through a lot of these questions. I hope everyone in the audience, I hope you're happy with the answers you're getting. Please do shoot us if you've got any more. We've got another one here from Claire R. Will we have access to past papers or exam style questions to prepare for any test or exams?
I'll take that one, Nikki. The short answer is yes. You would need to speak with your module team and your module leader about accessing exam papers, but the provision that you'll be getting is in terms of exam support will be the same as if you were on campus. So past exam papers do exist, and teaching teams will be able to help with advice regarding how to answer them. So the in levels of support for assessments generally, not just exams but other assessments, the support is still there. You'll still have tutors, you'll still have people that you can ask questions of and practice sessions, etc. So yes, is the answer.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Building on that, we've got another question from someone cryptically called LB, asking, will the campus time be optional? So will you have to come in for the face-to-face elements of your course? Who would like to come in on this one?
I can take this one. So obviously anything that is timetabled is not, it's not optional. You should be there. So, and this links into the kind of previous conversations that we've had about attendance monitoring as well. So it is likely that your attendance in that session would be monitored. So obviously if you don't come in, then it would record as a non-attendance.
Perfect, thank you very much. I've seen that the same person has followed up with another question saying, I'm unsure whether to book travel arrangements or not, as I don't know how often I'll have to be on campus. Again, we're aiming so that students will have to be on campus pretty much weekly. We're aiming to have everyone getting a chance to get involved with some more practical elements of their course on a weekly basis. So I hope that answers your question. I do in fact have one that I can answer here. So I'm going to jump on that one, asking, is the library open as usual? The library spaces are currently closed with the exception of book collection, and they are also currently unable to offer any printing facilities, but don't worry, because we also have plenty of printers across campus which are going to be open, and the network as a whole for printing anything that you might need is still there. But the library is currently closed, but they do have an online digital library where a lot of the books that they offer are also available.
Can I just add into that one a little bit? Because again, they're sort of having conversations with some of the library team. Obviously, they are planning to open. So with campus reopening, more and more of our services are reopening. So the predominant part of that is, again, back to safety, goes without saying. So there is a plan in place to obviously open services. So particularly when students return, because we recognise that those spaces are important, and certainly they're seen as a priority because they are used by both students but also staff as well. So everybody needs access to library resources. So it is being planned.
Perfect. Thank you very much. There we go. Okay, we've got a lot more questions coming in at the moment. Fantastic. We're going to answer them to the best of our abilities. So first things first, we have, where is it? There it is. One from Lady Sai saying, do we have the same half-term holidays as schools? No, Nikki. Yes, no. Short end of the long story short, that's what I was trying to say. I'm tripping myself up. There's not, we don't have the same sort of thing, do we, Nikki?
We don't have half terms.
No.
So that's the easiest way. And to be fair, obviously, depending on where you come from, Leicester generally tends to sit away from other counties because their half terms are normally different to everywhere else anyway. So no, we don't have half terms. What we do have as it's not a break. I'm wrong to call it a break, but we have week 6, as we affectionately call it. So the 6th week of the academic calendar, which falls in the middle of November. So we have what we call our enhancement week for level 5 and level 6 students. So it is for level 4 students, it's not classified as an enhancement week, but it's a bit of a space in the timetable from normal kind of typical teaching activities, so it's not as full. So the idea being that you can focus on employability activities, use the time for yourself to obviously read around your subject areas. So it's not a half term and it's not a break, but it's a difference in the timetable. Some programme teams this year have requested to use some of that time for teaching, because we don't want to get students behind, obviously. So odd courses, you may find that time is used for some teaching activity, but generally it's kept clear for your programme level activity. So within the Faculty of Health and Life Sciences, during that week, on the Tuesday of that week, and this is a shameless plug, we are holding a virtual employability conference, so for all students to attend. So for us, obviously, it enables us to put on conferences like this to support students in wider curricular activities, and it keeps it out of your programme time. So there is also a second week further on in the year, but that's in February, so that's week 22. But I think kind of obviously we don't have a regimented timetable structure. So once you get your timetables, obviously you can see what your course commitments are, and for some people they may come in a couple of days a week, or normally be expected to come in a couple of days a week. For other courses, you may find that the timetable is more intensive. Okay, so it does vary across the programs, but this is always a difficult time of year for everybody because we all want to plan what we're doing. So but for our timetablers, obviously this is literally the point where they are planning for activities and know the amount of students that are coming to campus. So they're working very hard behind the scenes, obviously, to prepare the timetables, and then issue your individual timetable to you on the 1st of October, as Callie said.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So we have another question here from a Rachel Burley. If you feel you need some advice or support initially being a mature student, can this be accessed face-to-face or using online facilities? Callie, I believe this might be one for you. You're still on mute.
So sorry, no, I am back. Yes, there are, if you go on our DMU website for our student and academic services, there are places over there that obviously deal with more mature students. It depends if it's what the advice and support is that they need. I would say initially to drop the Student Advice Centre an email, actually, because depending on what the advice or support is, there's various different places that would need to be referred to. Or equally, give us a call if there's anything that Rachel wants to talk through. We're more than happy to talk through that directly and refer on if needed.
Fantastic. And once again, those magic numbers are at the bottom of the screen. Okay.
I think, sorry, Jake, just to add into that as well, this is where your personal tutor is kind of key. So obviously, as Callie said, depending on what it is that you need advice or support with, then Student Advice Centre is an ideal place. But speak to your personal tutor. So they will be able to direct you. So they're a good signposter. Obviously, they're aware of different services across the university. So both of those areas are perfect, really, to offer general advice and support for students.
Perfect. I have another question here from Josh Palin, which I think might be another one for you, Callie, saying, can you confirm if the university provides students with Microsoft services like PowerPoint or Word? I believe I read it somewhere on the DMU website.
If I'm honest, I'm not sure. Do you know, Nikki?
I have no idea. No. I will.
I believe we do because as a student, I believe I used it myself. But I personally don't know where to find that myself. Probably a good place to check would again be your DMU Future, or have a look around on the website. And if you're still getting lost, get in contact with us on social media, and we will attempt to find an answer for you as best and as quick we can. Fantastic. So I've got a question here from Oyen, who says, what if you can't attend campus because your own city has a local lockdown? Will that affect your attendance? Is there anyone who'd like to come in on this?
I could take that one.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I think if you're in your own lockdown and you have like a big red line around you, like Leicester did have, where you're non-essential travel and you're not allowed outside the red line, you need to let us know. And there are things that we can put in place, not necessarily about your attendance, but if you're struggling with getting assessments in or you're missing some vital lectures, it might be that you want to think about deferring a piece of coursework and that kind of thing. So again, I think we've mentioned personal tutor a lot in this session, but that's the person to start talking to if you're in a local lockdown, because if that lockdown might be 2, 3, 4 weeks, our lockdown in Leicester has been sort of for 3 months, so we would have to have a workaround for that on sort of individual basis. But you would need to let us know. Your personal tutor will talk to your programme leader and will talk to us. So I think one thing you need to understand as students is that as members of academic staff and as members of the team, we talk to each other. So we have quite open communications and open lines of correspondence with each other to make sure that students are supported. We're not a punitive university. We don't set out to punish students or to set students up to fail. We are a university that's supportive and seeks to support students through all sorts of different situations, but you need to let us know it's happening.
Thank you very much, Hannah. We've still got a good 5 minutes left on the live stream, but we are coming towards the end. So I will just say, if we don't get to your questions, do not worry. We will answer them after the stream in the comments. So don't worry if we don't tackle them in person. Speaking of which, I've got another question, surprisingly. This one is from Ahmed Guila, who says, is there somewhere on campus that can be used to work on online lectures, especially if you have bad Wi-Fi at home, for example? I know that we will have study spaces open on campus for people to visit. Obviously, there will be restrictions there. Places won't be able to have as many students as we would have done in the past, obviously, to help maintain social distancing and keep the campus as safe as possible. But there will be spaces, and we have a We have the internet, EduRoam, obviously, across the entirety of campus for all students to be able to access with your laptop, your iPad, whatever you need to watch your online lectures and get the best experience you can. Okay, right. Where are we? There is a lot of questions coming in. Thank you very much for asking us. I'm just trying to find this one. Here we go. There we are. So is DMU Global happening this year for first year students, or just in general, I presume? Nikki or Anna, do you know if you'd be able to jump in on this one?
I can. The answer is yes and no. So there at the moment there isn't the provision to go abroad on trips, but the teams are currently planning virtual alternatives. So although you can't physically go away on a DMU Global trip, you can virtually do so instead.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And it is also worth pointing out in response to the early question about Microsoft apps, we have just posted the link in there to show you where you can access Office 365. It is now in the comments if you want to get involved and get that. Thank you very much.
Is that for staff as well?
I believe that's for staff as well, yes. So get on that.
Excellent. So thank you for that question, because we've all learned something.
Absolutely fantastic. I have a question from a Bianca Smart here, saying, I was granted a scholarship for social work. When and how will this be paid? Please and thank you. Is this one that anyone here would be able to jump in on? If not, we have places that we could direct you to as well.
I would say student finance.
Yes. Okay, fair enough. Yep, absolutely. So the place to go would be student finance, and hopefully our man behind the screen, who is doing a great job of keeping an eye on our comments, will be able to drop you a link to their contact details in a few moments. Okay, fantastic. I've seen another question asking where we'd be able to go on campus to watch online sessions. Again, we will have study spaces, so do not worry, they will be available. What else have we got coming up? Apologies, there's a lot of questions to go through, so just finding some. If we go into a second lockdown, this is another one from Kim Ham. If a second lockdown unfortunately does happen, will teaching resume online? So would anyone like to jump in on this one?
So I think this kind of goes back to the proactive planning that I talked about earlier. Yes, obviously we have got, and we've worked over the last few months to put in contingency plans should a second wave occur, should a second lockdown occur. So obviously, if and when that happens, then you will be guided through. But if a lockdown does happen, obviously it will mean that all face-to-face will have to be suspended. So same as it did, it was previously. But we've got the provision to put it online if need be. So fingers crossed that won't happen.
Thank you very much. And as with that, I think we're sort of coming towards the end of the session. So we're going to, I'd just like to quickly go around and ask if there's anything else that you might want to say to our new students who are joining this year, and returning students, obviously, but if there's any sort of final words you'd like to have. So if I go around, if I start with Nikki, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. So I think I would just like to say, obviously, welcome to our new students. I always love this time of year, and it's always normally great to see the campus looking so lively again after the summer months when it's been really, really quiet. But it's different this year. It's different for us all. Absolutely get that. But hopefully we do look forward to seeing you face to face sometime soon. Yeah, just welcome and welcome back, obviously, to our returning students, and good luck.
Absolutely, good luck. Anna, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, I would like to just say that was my husband making a brief entry into the room. So sorry about that. You can't tell the time. Welcome everybody. I'm same as Nikki, really, just really missing being on campus and seeing everybody excited and starting the new year. I think just remember that it's new to academic staff as much as it's new to you. We're all getting to grips with learning how to use technology and how to interact in this remote world. And I think just keep in touch. If you've got a question, please ask it. I can see from the comments that you're not shy about asking questions. So please keep asking questions and keep in touch with your personal tutor and your programme team particularly.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And lastly, Callie, have you got anything else you'd like to add?
Just echoing what Anna and Nikki have said. We wish you all well. Good luck in your studies. As Anna said, this is as new to us as it is to you. We're all going to be trying our best. Don't be afraid. If you have any questions, please keep in touch with us. Even if it's a quick email that you need to drop us, or if you're on campus, you're more than welcome to pop in and see us. We are still there and we are still accessible, albeit with perspex screens up at our counters, but we're still there behind them. So yeah, if you're on campus, pop in and see us. Failing that, drop us an email or give us a call, and we're more than happy to help you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Callie. And thank you very much to you guys for all the excellent questions and for letting us all know everything that you guys wanted answered. We hope this has been helpful. We wish you the very best, and we will hopefully see you again soon. So goodbye, I guess.